All right, let's jump right in. We're about to dive into a mythic story that flips our whole idea of power on its head. I mean, forget everything you know about climbing up to get stronger. This is all about going down, way down, into the very heart of the world.
And this quote right here, this is pretty much the key to the whole thing. The idea isn't to reach for the sun, but to be completely reforged in the crushing pressure of the deep, to be core forged.
So what if the traditional path to power, the hero's journey we all know, is, well, wrong? The story of the inverted descent basically says, hey, you've been looking up this whole time when the real power, the real authority, is buried deep, deep down. Okay, so let's break this down. On one hand, you've got the classic story, right? The hero climbs the mountain, reaches for the heavens, gets wisdom from the gods. But the inverted descent, it's a total opposite. You go down. You embrace the crushing pressure of the planet's core to find real strength. It's not about being a hero. It's about tearing that whole idea apart to build something new, something real from the inside out.
And this leads to this awesome concept called abyssal sovereignty. It's not just about, gritting your teeth and surviving the pressure. No, it's about being made from it. That's what it means to be core forged. You literally internalize the abyss and turn that crushing weight into your foundation.
Okay, so that sounds intense, right? How does a person actually do that? Well, that brings us to our main character, Maximus. His story is the perfect example of this radical journey.
So, get this. For 10 whole years, Maximus, who actually starts out as a guy named Elias, basically buries himself alive. He goes into this ancient Byzantine tomb deep under the ground in Anatolia. But he's not there to die. He's there to be completely rebuilt, right from the bedrock up.
And what he finds down there is just incredible. He's not looking up at the sky for answers. Instead, he kind of engineers his own soul. He learns to tap directly into the Earth's magnetic core, using its ley lines. Think about that. He learns to use gravity itself as a weapon, turning the very thing that holds us down into his greatest strength.
Now, I know what you're thinking. A bioelectric will. Sounds a little out there, right? But what's so cool about this story is how it uses a real-world engineering metaphor to explain exactly how this works.
It's called mechanical inversion. So picture this. A vehicle, maybe like a drone, is falling, but it's falling upside down, on purpose. Instead of fighting gravity, it harvests the energy of the fall to power itself. And to keep from just tumbling out of control, getting stuck in its own downwash, it spins. That rapid spin, that yaw rate modulation, isn't just a physical trick. For Maximus, it's a mental and spiritual one. It's how he stays focused and uses the fall to break free instead of being destroyed by it.
All right, so Maximus is now core forged. He's mastered this incredible power. He finally comes back up to the surface. And what does he find? What kind of world is waiting for him? Well, he finds us, or a version of us, a world of last men, just living on the surface, the skin of the world. Everyone's glued to their phones, obsessed with their digital lives. They see this incredible thing happening in front of them, and their first instinct isn't to understand it, it's to film it. They've totally mistaken the surface for what's real. And then he says this: "You have mistaken the surface for reality. I have come to show you how to bleed lightning." And boom! Just by his presence, his bioelectric will just shuts down every piece of tech in the area. No phones, no screens. It forces everyone into this silent, unfiltered moment of reality. And in that moment, he becomes this living symbol. Like a tightrope stretched over a massive canyon. On one side is where humanity is, and on the other is what they could be, the beyond man. He's the challenge, daring them to cross, to face the abyss of their own superficial lives and evolve.
But of course, you can't just show up and change the world. There's always a final boss, right? An ultimate gatekeeper standing in the way of progress. And for Maximus, this adversary is something else. He has to face the Crimson Dragon. Now, we're not talking about a literal fire-breathing beast. This dragon is a metaphor. It's the embodiment of every old law, every "you must do this," every tradition that's been holding humanity back for 1,000 years. It's the voice that says, stay safe, stay buried, don't change.
And its main weapon, it's not fire or claws, it's the spirit of gravity. Its whole strategy is to make you feel the weight of every mistake, every failure of history all at once,
to pin you down with guilt and regret so you feel too heavy to even move, let alone rise.
So here's the ultimate conflict. The dragon is trying to crush Maximus with external pressure, the weight of the past. But Maximus, he's already mastered that pressure. He made it his own. He doesn't fight it. He just absorbs it, using the dragon's own attack as fuel. It's the perfect counter. The climax is just brilliant. It's called an architectural sacrifice. Maximus doesn't just slay the beast, he shatters the central pillar of its lair. And get this, it's the same ancient foundation where he was reborn. He has to destroy his own origin to truly break free. And with that one act, the roof is gone. The symbolic ceiling that kept the world safe, but also small and trapped, is just gone. The old rules, the old certainties, they've all been shattered.
This is so much bigger than just winning a fight. It's about shattering an entire way of life. And it leaves us with this huge, terrifying question. Now that the old laws are broken, what happens next? What do you do when there's nothing holding you up, but also nothing holding you down?
And that question brings us to the final part of this story. The big ultimatum. The challenge of living in this brand new, roofless world. See, getting rid of the old rules isn't some easy paradise. It's dangerous. The world is now exposed to what the story calls active nihilism. Maximus uses the wreckage to soar upwards, becoming the sovereign of the sky. But for everyone else, it's a stark choice. You either learn to grow wings and master this new chaos, or you get crushed by the gravity of your own fear.
And that really brings us to the core message of the whole thing. This idea that to lead humanity to the stars, you first have to drag them down into the depths to show them how to master the lightning themselves. It's a wild idea, right? That real ascension, reaching for the sky, can only ever start after you've faced the deepest, darkest parts of the world and yourself.